I've moved around the Los Angeles arts world for decades. There are plenty of Jews here, and most of them are progressives. This has always been the case. 25 years ago, when you saw your Jewish friends at a cocktail party, they would be excited about their upcoming or just completed trip to Israel. There was a palpable pride in that scrappy little country. But that was beginning to change, and gradually my Jewish friends simply stopped talking about Israel. Why? What happened? Well, what happened is the American left turned away from the Jewish state and attached their affections to the so-called Palestinians. And American Jews just shut up and went along with it. Why did the left turn? I'll tell you. Progressives understand the world by a single formula. To them, the entire human story breaks down to this: oppressor versus oppressed. That's it. Their politics is only that idea. Everything that they are driven to do is in response to that one thing. They're really change junkies and control freaks, and oppression is their justification to monkey around with whatever is in place. So, when looking at any problem, they must locate both the oppressor and the oppressed. The math is simple. Who's doing well and who's not doing well? Oppressor, oppressed. Now, at one time, Israel was seen as an underdog, and therefore the oppressed. This enabled the left to root for her. She was made up of hunted peoples who had survived an attempted genocide. What could be better? And early on, Israel was moving toward a socialist model. Meanwhile, in our universities, a radical professor named Howard Zinn was turning U.S. history on its head. What we'd seen as a country of tough, hard-headed pioneers was being recast as an oppressor nation. And the indigenous peoples who were supplanted by our ancestors were cast as the oppressed. Progressives longed to go back in time and rescue those noble primitives from, well, us. But they couldn't go back in time, so they just hated the white man as best they could while wearing stylish French jackets and making dream catchers. And over there in the Middle East, Israel was losing interest in being a socialist communal underdog. They morphed into a nation of badasses. They fought off every attack and in their spare time built the freest, most forward-looking country in the region. And they did it with capitalism and military might. In a sense, they turned into America Junior, a group of advanced Westerners taming a wild frontier. And so, in the minds of progressives, the Palestinians became the indigenous peoples, the First Nation peoples. They became, well, the Indians. This was just what the left was looking for. Cowboys and Indians in real time. Oh, goody. And so the progressives switched sides, and they have hated Israel ever since. In exactly the way and for exactly the reasons they hate America. And gradually, their fantasy-based adoration of Palestinian Arabs spread to Islam in general. This explains why savage tribalism and patriarchy among Muslims does not bother the left. They had already learned to forgive all that in the American Indians who had been subjugated by empire in North America. You notice how lefties always refer to housing developments in the West Bank as settlements? And the brave Israelis who lived there as settlers? Where have we heard that before? But wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture? Oh yeah, the Jews were there first. They were conquered by the Greeks. They were subjugated by the Romans. The dead white guys inventing Western civilization were stealing Jerusalem long before Muhammad ever flew there on his magic horse. Palestine was the Roman province of Palestina, which Emperor Hadrian established in 135 AD to drive the Jews out once and for all. This makes them the indigenous peoples who were displaced by imperialist greed. The Israelis are the Indians. So maybe I need to call some of my Jewish friends and tell them it's okay to stop hating Israel.
Thanks for watching. Please consider becoming a supporting member of Blue Collar Logic. Look for the link in the comments section and give what you can.